All right, my friends, we're back with a very exciting episode. Today, I am here with my friend and fellow trader, Silas Peters. He is the founder and head trader at Trades Trending. Silas, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Mindy.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're calling me Mindy because always it's MK.
Well, I want to be more formal for you.
I don't know why. You'll see very quickly on this show. It's not a very formal occasion. So let's start with this. Obviously, you are a trader. You've been very successful. You've created this company. Now you've got a lot of different things going on. But what I'm always really interested in is the journey to get to that place. So if you could take us back to when you were younger and what were some of the highlights or the steps along the way to become the Silas Peters that you are today?
Yeah. So thanks for having me on the show. And been an interesting journey. I think everybody has their own journeys. Obviously, probably some more planned than others. Mine was not planned at all.
Oh, that's
I
even better
did,
story.
yeah. I did kind of the typical route. Went to college, majored in finance. Still had no idea what I was going to do. Did the typical applications and interviews with the banks and the brokerage firms and all that good stuff back in the early 2000s. I actually have to credit my wife for getting me probably into the business that I'm in today. We've very much evolved since 20 years, but it really started in Chicago. That's where my journey started, at the Chicago Board of Trade and Chicago in general, I guess you could say. And I was immediately hooked by the trading bug, and specifically commodity bug, when I was in Chicago. And I always said that I will always be looking at what the price of the S&P is, or soybeans, or gold, or crude, regardless of whatever happens in my future after leaving Chicago. And here I am today, trading it every day.
So I have a very important question for you regarding your time in Chicago. What is your top Chicago pizza?
Probably Giordano's.
Okay, not bad. I would choose Malnati's, but not bad with Giordano's. That's my hometown, so I have
That's
to.
right. We were in Chicago, gosh, a month ago, and we went to Lou Malnati's, and it was solid. I can't complain.
It is
But
solid.
a different experience.
Yes, true story. Okay, well, now that we got that out of the way, so you clearly though had this intention of finance, money, something in that field versus some Yahoo like me that also got bit by the trading bug and had no background in that, no thought of that at all. And here we are today. So tell me a little bit about even earlier, like what was it that inspired you about this whole world of finance?
Well, there I would credit my dad. He's kind of the one that pushed me into finance, pursuing finance. Because in high school, I again didn't know what I was going to do, and probably need to be straightened out a couple times. But
Well, like most of us in high school.
yeah. I was not the one that had a clear direction of what I wanted to do. Some of my buddies, some guys that I looked up to, older guys that actually did have a good head on their shoulders, were also kind of pursuing finance and going to the same school that I wanted to go to. And but it was him that kind of helped push me into that realm. We kind of have like an inside joke. He had his own heating and air conditioning business where we live in South Alabama. Very good business, that he had taken from kind of the ground up, the little mom and pop, and built it up. But I used to work for him in the summers, going way back, like child labor, when I was probably under 10.
Right, when it
And
was illegal.
yeah, we kind of had a joke. Something he always remembers and we laugh about is, we were working either on top of a condominium or inside of a kitchen, probably both. And I said, Dad, I respect what you do, but I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get an office job. And he looked at me and said, I sure the hell hope you do.
Mm.
And because, I saw the labor and the toll it took on him physically. He's basically like a doctor on call, growing up, to run his business. And but I didn't like the heat, and he and I wouldn't say we would have been the best partners working together. But anyway, long story short, I said I want to get an office job. I was thinking, I'm gonna work in a bank or something like that. But I don't remember where we were going with the story. But he was the one that kind of helped push me, and very encouraging. Like, yeah, it's okay. I don't expect you to take over the family business here.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool, because what I like about that story is sometimes it's being in a situation or condition that we don't like a lot, that is then what propels us toward what we do like, what we should be doing. So I think that's an awesome representation of that. So I'd also like to know from you, because now it's not just that you are trading, and you are not just a trader. You've had to become this like entrepreneur with this business and be the trading guru and teaching other people. And I know that for me, there's a little struggle in that. It's like, hey, I could do my own thing over here just privately and quietly, but now I'm actually showcasing all of this stuff. And I'm curious, for you, was that an easy transition to just be doing your own thing? No. Okay. So let's talk about it. What were some of the obstacles or the challenges in, creating now what is Trades Trending?
Yeah, well, so I'm a total introvert.
But you and me both.
And now we have a brand that's, almost 6 figures strong as far as followers and students that really rely on me every day for guidance and research and ideas, real trading, trying to extract real money from the markets. And so that was not easy. Never was. I always did like to be the person just kind of in the background doing my thing. I don't care I don't have any ego. I don't care to get credit for anything. I just want to be in the background working. I don't want to be exposed, as far as, hey, I'm on a stage, come see me. I just absolutely am terrified about that.
Yeah,
So
it's
it took
so
a
much so
while.
that you will actually leave a room before you're supposed to be on a panel.
Yeah, I mean, I was texting you before this, like, hey, what do I need to do here?
I'm like, it's chill. We're just going to have a conversation.
Yeah. So it took a little bit of, arm twisting for me to actually create the brand. I credit a couple people to help me do that, because I was doing, like you said, I was just doing my own thing in the background. And as you know, trading can be a lonely business or hobby, or whoever's approached, however that individual approaches it. But it was my thing and what I'm doing. And a couple of people were like, hey, we really need, your stuff is really good. And I feel like I'm pretty humble. And I said, yeah, I agree. But we need to get you out into the real world, instead of just keeping this, down in your basement or up in your attic or wherever you're doing this. And so here we are today. We rolled this brand out. Actually, there's another brand that was more niche based, and we've since expanded. And now, like I said, we serve, literally students in the multiple thousands, and it's good. It's been a good thing, positive thing. I'm definitely warmed up to it. I'm not going to be Tony Robbins walking around beating my chest and riling everybody up. But
thank goodness.
I love what I do, and I'm very passionate about what I do, and I'm glad to be helping people now.
Yeah. So I have a question about what you were saying, because everybody does say that, trading is a lonely experience. And for people like us, though, that are a little bit more of a hermit, more introvert, like me personally, I don't actually find it to be a lonely experience. So I was wondering, for you, like, do you experience it that way, or?
No, I was actually kind of saying what most people
Exactly.
say about that's what that's lonely. You're sitting behind a screen all by yourself, unless you're in some investment club office. I personally don't find it lonely, because
No, me neither.
I'm active all day. I'm on point. I don't have time to be, I'm not sulking or certainly not worried about being lonely. I'm trading and I'm producing research and content that I have to get out. And so I might be by myself most of the time, but I feel like I'm with my students because I'm engaging with them constantly during the day, if that makes any sense.
It totally does. And that's very similar to how I feel about it is I'm intrigued enough by what I'm doing and what's happening in the markets that to me, I'm like, I don't even have time to think about all this other
Right.
stuff. I find it a very engaging experience, even if I'm, with students or not, like in a live room or not. So I wanted to know what your thoughts on that. I thought it might be kind of similar. So talk to me about this. In this world of finance, in this world of everybody's trying to learn how to play these markets and extract money from the markets, what has been your experience in terms of the actual money? And I don't care about the amount or the dollars, but in terms of the experience of being able to make a great deal of money from something that is just fully based on you sitting at a computer, recognizing patterns, whatever it is that you're doing. Talk to me about that experience. Like, did you grow up with money? Did you not grow up with money? And how has that shifted over your life?
Yeah. So I didn't grow up with money. I had, was fine, just middle class guy. And, I've had a great childhood and all that. So no necessarily hard times, so to speak, but I was not, at levels that of other peers or friends of mine by any means, nor was at the bottom end either. But I have been driven to be successful. At least success is defined differently by different people. But I just knew that I never wanted to. First and foremost, I wanted to provide for my family. But before I had a family, I wanted money. Any kid in high school and going through college and getting his first job, you want a big, multi-sum job right out of college. That didn't happen. I feel like I paid my dues there, but hey, I like doing things. I like experiences. I like to eat and I like to drink and go
Yeah, like at Sushi
life.
Samba.
One of the best places.
We had such a great experience there.
Great experience. Food, the whole atmosphere. And it's literally those kinds of things, that, if I don't work and I don't make money, then I don't get to experience those things. So like, it's never been very difficult for me to not have any work ethic because, seen a lot of friends that didn't seem to have work ethic, and whether they were given money because their parents had it, or they just decided maybe to go a little sideways and do things that they want to do that didn't really pan out very well. But I don't know. I've always been driven to work. I've worked, ever since I was a kid, not just with my dad, but also worked throughout, high school and college. And I just want to be in a position where I'm not necessarily worrying about Lamborghinis and private jets, but just
Right.
being able to enjoy life, pay my bills first off, and then enjoy things outside of that. And then as the family came along, then that's my number one priority. That's my number one thing I think about all the time when I make decisions, especially when it comes to making money and finances. Like, they're the number one thing. Got to take care of them, then we'll worry about the rest.
Do you find that after you started your family, did that decrease? And maybe you were always like this, but did that decrease your risk that you were willing to take in the markets?
I
Or
knew
you've
I
always
knew
been
that was
like,
coming.
yeah,
Yes, yeah. It's been my risk tolerance has gone in cycles. Yes, the older I get, and I think the older I get, that's just, me getting older and my temperament. But also like being prudent about finances. Like, I don't have another, I'm 20 years removed from where I was, where I could take greater risk. That's 20 years that I'd have to make up if I did something stupid. And we've
Right.
all done something stupid. But yeah, I mean, my risk tolerance, I mean, not my tolerance, but my risk profile, I guess you could say, is certainly, went from, higher risk, probably peaked, and I'm working my way down to more conservative. But yeah, back in the day, I was more risky than I should have been. I think everybody has been there, done that. I just know that I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, using my risk management, and I know the results will work out over time. But just to answer your question in a shorter format is yes, I'm much less risk tolerant than I
Than you
was.
were. I mean, I was just thinking about the fact that if I had kids and if I had a family that I was supporting, I mean, right now it's just me. So I can do a lot of things, and I would probably feel way differently about it if there were other people that were relying on that. So I want to go back to what you were talking about. You said different people define success differently. And one of the questions that I ask every guest on this show is about your personal definition of wealth. What is wealth to you, and how would you define it?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people will immediately gravitate towards like the monetary side of wealth. They think wealth, well, that's financial, assets, money. That's certainly a part of it, and there's a different number out there for everybody. But true wealth, I think, in my opinion, would be not only do you have a roof over your head, you've got a car to get you from A to B, family, whether it's parents or grandparents or family that has taken care of you or have impacted your life, spouse, children, the obvious health too. I would say like the true wealth is the financial side of it, being able to pay your bills, do the things that you want to do, have family or loved ones that you can confide in when times are tough, health, and then just being able to do what you love to do, which I feel very wealthy in that regard, and blessed to have the freedom to do what you and I both do.
100% agree. I mean, to me, it is that freedom to do what we want, how we want, when we want, with whom we want, all of that. So completely resonant there. So I want to dig into some of the ways that you are able to create the wealth that you do in your own life, the ways that you are productive, the ways that you can maybe stay focused while trading, whatever that might be. So I have a 4-part question. It's based on an acronym called HERB, and I'm going to walk you through each one at a time. The H stands for habits. So what are some of your habits that allow you to really show up at the level of success that you want to show up as?
I would probably go back to what we touched on earlier, just having a pretty strong work ethic. Like I have a very strong desire to succeed, just not just with my trading, but just with everything I'm doing, like my research and the software we build, and all that does translate into trading results, at the end of the day. But I just have a passion for doing what I do, but to put all that together, it's like just having a good time management. I feel like I'm pretty strong with that. I have a plan, I have a kind of a ritual every morning. I do feel like it's Groundhog Day a lot, but I'm
Yeah,
not
totally.
complaining. I'm not complaining. I could be, because we joke, I could be going and put my suit tie on and going back to the bank that, and no offense to anybody out there that are bankers, I worked at a bank but that just was not my thing. And
Different
or
lifestyle.
the corporate world, let's call it the corporate world, because
Totally. I came from there, and it's so different.
so just having a plan in place, kind of my routine that I do every single day, what I do when I wake up, to then getting the kids ready, feeding them. off to school, and then back in the saddle. I mean, those are my habits. You know, I just kind of knock things out. I love lists. I just love checklists, handwritten checklists.
That's good.
I'm old school, and I just I'll knock things out, go through my day, focus on my trading, and I don't know. It's kind of a weird answer for you, but
Well, let me ask you this, because I know I have certainly come up against this. And you mentioned, sometimes it feels like Groundhog Day. It's every day we get up, we do the same thing. And I remember Hubert once saying to me, this was early on, I just started, and I was like doing fairly consistently well at that time. And I had said something to him about, I was like, gosh, it almost feels boring. And he's like, good, it should feel boring. And I was like, what? I didn't get it at that time because I was brand new. But how do you maybe get over the potential feeling of monotony that is that just every day up, same thing, same thing, same thing? Does that ever bother you, or have you just gotten past that?
I'm past that. Like, it doesn't, there's always things that we don't probably enjoy doing 100%, but when it really, I'll just go back to what I said earlier. Anytime I feel myself wanting to complain or think something is monotonous, I think about the other side of where I could be, or what I could be doing. Driving an hour into a bigger town like I also used to do, and I get to work from home, but I don't, because about 90% of my day is somehow or somewhat market related, but it might be a different segment of the business, might be a different product that we run, or service we run, a different, totally different asset class, could be a research piece, could be part of our advisory that we run. And so I do get, even though that routine is kind of the same, at least I get a mix of different segments of the business, of the market, if that makes any sense. So I'll focus a few hours in the morning, doing intraday trading. I usually take my walk, take my dogs, we go for a couple of miles, I get back, eat, and then I start looking for more swing plays, to carry in maybe into tomorrow or in the rest of the week. And that's my day. People might say it's boring, but I enjoy it.
Nice. Now, do you have a favorite? I'm totally like going off script here, but do you have a favorite market to trade?
S&P in crude oil. I know you asked one, but S&P and crude oil, I'm pretty active in the most. NASDAQ, I'll trade bonds and gold. So I'm pretty much sticking with the more liquid markets: S&P, NASDAQ, crude, gold, bonds.
So you don't want to trade the milk and the eggs futures?
I've not physically traded milk or butter.
Me neither.
I was telling Hubert the other day, when I was in Chicago working the institutional desk, actually our client was the largest milk trader in Chicago.
Really?
And I call it luxury, but I was able to trade milk. I was taking his orders, and it's just a weird market. I don't get it. And it was so thin. I mean, this guy basically controlled the milk market.
Yeah, like
it's a producer market, commercial market.
Right, you are the market. So anyway, back to our herb acronym. The E in herb stands for environment. So how do you set up your physical space to allow you to be productive, stay focused, all of that?
So you want to get like an idea of my layout, my desk setup, or
or I mean, some people are like, oh, I love to work in a coffee shop, and I'm like, I couldn't do that to save my life because I'd be so distracted. I hate the noise. So like, how do you need to create your space so that you can stay in your best?
Yeah. So no coffee shops. I'm not sharing hotspots or internet with anybody. First, you know this as well as I do. We've got to have solid internet connection. I think we shared horror stories about lost internet and feed.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Still happens. I mean, we've got more people doing construction, utility work around here. All of a sudden, I get the red disconnected. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm in a position. Used to freak out about it. I still have speed dial. I broker on speed dial, but I'm just kind of like, all right. Well, hopefully, the market won't move.
Yeah, right.
Points against me while we're have a temporary outage. I've got the whole bottom floor of our house. So, well, not technically. There are utility room and everything, but I've got a whole dedicated space that I have to work in, and it's quiet. I've got my TV. I've got two stand-up desks. Usually the one I'm sitting at right now is raised. That's where I've got a multiple monitor set up where I can look at different markets, different data, charts. And then I've got behind me, I've got another stand-up desk that I move up and down. This one pretty much stays down. And that's where I do more of my advisory work and research, where I'm, kind of having to really focus and read kind of the boring stuff, macro related, longer term themes, and managing that side of business.
I like that you have separate spaces though to do separate things. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're just put together like a little L. I've got multiple monitors set up here, multiple monitors set up here where I'm looking at you, and this is where I'm like dialed in doing my trading, active trading.
Nice. So the R in herb stands for resources, and resources could be anything from books, programs, courses, people, whatever. What resources in your experience have been some of the best, most inspiring to you that you would recommend to others?
Well, it's a tricky question. I think just what I can think off the top of my head is the ability to lever technology. I mean, it's changed so much. When I was in Chicago, the floor was actually still the floor. The pits were active, and there's none of that, which doesn't really mean. Well, actually, one of the programs I first invested in to kind of where I thought I was just going to go make millions of dollars, buying this indicator package from some guy in Chicago. Even though there were Globex futures, currency futures, you still took the high-low close and open from the pit traded contract.
Yeah,
that's old school. So it used to report like there was this site where it'd be like, euro currency, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, Aussie dollar, all that. Pit open high-low close, Globex open high-low close, and they were about 90% of the time the same. Maybe off a tick or two, but we use the pit data anyway. Talking about technology, we've been able to just utilize coding and programmers to automate so much of what I used to do by hand. Like a lot of what I've had programmed and what I use daily that I was doing 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, still the same thing. But it was everything I was doing by hand. And I was doing it for multiple markets, different time frames. And, we talk about, indicators. There's kind of you're either a pro indicator or you're not pro indicator. The indicators I use are all price action based tools that I used to do by hand. We just had technology do it. So like as far as resources, it's just technology and software. I mean, we're able to do so much now in a matter of seconds that would take maybe end of day to do it, and allows me to therefore take that to my students and members to give them more ideas, more opportunities, a lot quicker. And so we've had software built, our own proprietary software that takes in account seasonality, takes into account AI, takes into account commitment of traders, things that literally would take days for people to do, we can do with a couple of clicks. So as far as resources, it's just technology to make our trading efficient and quicker, and using, talking about resources, people, like programmers and smart people like coders and that are writing scripting code that are way beyond mine.
People that do different things than we do. I couldn't agree with you more, because watching video, now obviously I was never involved in the pits, but watching video of what that is like, or was like, I'm like, dear God, I never would have gotten into that. Like, that is not my scene at all. And how different it would have been if that was the only route that I had in trading versus what we do, sitting at our computers in our quiet little rooms now. So totally agree on that. Regarding the B, that stands for beliefs. And that could be your perspective on things, your worldview, the way in which you see how life, is. I'd love to know some of your beliefs that have contributed to your success.
Well, I think, there's so much talk about what, and I don't want to talk about COVID or anything like that, but
good. I don't want to talk about
the popular topic, the world of trading and investing was exposed, or a lot more people into that side of thing during COVID. And again, I'm not going to talk about it, but before that happened, I feel like this profession, or whatever you want to call it, is truly accessible to everybody. And it really is. And it might be cliche, but it truly is one of the few professions or industries that anybody from any walk of life could get involved in. And yeah, it does take money to make money. You have to have capital, but there's not as much overhead as I think a lot of people think. And I'm not going to say there's no risk. There's absolutely risk, but people that aren't educated, I think, have a different viewpoint, the wrong viewpoint of what, you day trade. Oh, you trade commodities. Oh, you trade options. Oh, you've got, you're in Bitcoin, whatever it might be. That, you're risky. Good luck with that. That's something that I've faced. I think now that I've been married for almost 20 years, my in-laws finally coming around the corner. My parents, they still don't know. My parents still don't know what I do. I don't know what to tell Mary down at the vet what you do. Even though I've told them 100 times, but it's hard to explain. But I just think that there is opportunity. I mean, there really is opportunity, and there is an asset or a methodology or strategy for everybody. Not everything is going to be for everybody.
Right.
And but if people want to approach it with an open mind, they're willing to accept that there is risk, like there is with anything in life. There is, I think it provides a lot of opportunity for people if they want to diversify what they're doing, or perhaps turn it into a full-time gig.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with a buddy of mine from growing up, and I had said something about, like I was shorting something. Now, to this guy, shorting is like the Big Short, right? Like that's his, and he was like, "What are you shorting?" And I'm like, "You don't understand. Like in futures, we can go long, we can go short. It's the same thing." And he was like, "What? Like how? What?" To him, it was like the most possible risk I could ever take. And I'm like, "It's cool." It's all good. So I totally agree with what you're saying. Now, Silas, this has been awesome. I'm super grateful for you and for you showing up here. If people are like, you know what, I'd like to check out his stuff, I'd like to follow him and see what he's got going on, which I will say, first off, I highly recommend everybody listening to this that is interested in trading, you go do whatever Silas is about to answer this question with, because I have watched some of your relatively recent webinars, And I'm like, I would buy that in a heartbeat. Like, are you kidding? First of all, you should be charging way more than you do. Like, you're undercharging for the service you're offering. And I'm like, I would totally invest in that 100%. So highly recommended. Where would you like people to go if they are interested in following your stuff?
Yeah, thanks. I think the easiest place would just be to go to our site, tradestrending.com, and you get a little bit of a flavor about myself, about our company, our products, our methodology, and I think you should be able to, if you're interested, you can put your email address in, start getting some content so you can get an idea of what we're about.
Awesome. Yeah, all of us send out a ton of free videos and free stuff. So definitely go jump on Silas's mailing list. Tell him if you talk to him that I sent you. And Silas, thank you so much. Totally appreciate you and your time today.
Thanks so much, Minnie. Thanks for having me on.